Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the second edition of our COSAL coaching session. My name is Rajesh Ramankuti, and I'm the Global Director of Field Marketing for the Microsoft Commercial Marketplace. If you missed the first edition of this COSAL coaching series, a quick overview on what you can expect in these sessions. Our goal is to introduce you to some of your peers in our Microsoft partner community to hear and learn about the best practices they have leveraged to co-sell effectively through the marketplace. We plan to host these sessions monthly, and each session will be for 30 minutes, followed by Q&A through the online chat. In our first edition that we hosted on April 2nd, we had Reese Berry, the CEO of Carve Partners, walking us through his co-sell best practices and various actionable insights. If you missed that session, you can review the recording by clicking the link we have added to the chat. In today's session, I'm excited to host Brett Ferancy, who is the Global Alliance Leader at Abnormal Security. You will hear Brett share his insights around proven best practices for co-sell execution and how to scale through the marketplace and multi-party private offers. But before I hand it over to Brett, I want to take a quick minute to ensure everyone understands what we mean by co-selling. Co-selling, or IP co-selling to be precise, is a collaborative engagement between Microsoft and its partners to sell products together. For example, it could involve lead sharing, driving joint sales cycles, and closing and transacting real deals through the Microsoft Commercial Marketplace. We're adding a link in the chat if you want to learn more about this partner benefit and how to meet the requirements to make your solution IP co-sell eligible. Now, without further delay, let me go ahead and invite Brett Ferancy, Global Alliance Leader at Abnormal Security, to introduce his organization and share his insights and best practices with us. Brett, thank you for joining us today. Welcome, and please take it away.
Thanks, Josh. I'm Brett Ferancy, Global Alliance Leader here at Abnormal Security, supporting our Microsoft partnership. Super excited to be here today and share with you how we built and scaled a high-impact co-sell motion in partnership with Microsoft. Now I'm going to take a minute and introduce who Abnormal Security is. Abnormal Security is a behavioral AI-based email security platform that protects organizations against advanced threats. So think of phishing, account takeover, vendor fraud. We're a cloud-native API-based platform designed to enhance Microsoft 365 and Defender, not replace them. And what I want to call out is this approach resonates with Microsoft sellers because it aligns with their existing tech stack and solves a clear customer need. And it also allows us to co-sell seamlessly. It's not just a product fit, it's a go-to-market fit. And so as we start walking through this presentation today, think of how your solution and how our solution and how we, Abnormal Security, was when we started to align with the Microsoft priorities. Now let me take a few minutes and walk you through how co-sell has driven real business value for us at Abnormal Security and what it looks like in practice. Like many of you, we started our Microsoft partnership by building integrations, getting listed on the marketplace, but where we really started to see the momentum, especially at the enterprise level, was when we leaned into co-sell with intentionality. As you'll see, first, starting on the left-hand side, first, it truly helped us expand into global accounts. Through co-sell, we've been introduced to customers we would never have reached through traditional outbound. A great example of this is we were working with the teams in the EMEA region, and they brought us directly into a large retail organization that they were working with to solve security gaps in their M365 deployment. From day one, we were aligned with that team. We were lockstep with them. And within 90 days, we were actively engaged with the CISO of that large global account, moving into POC status. That kind of velocity just doesn't happen without trust, and co-sell gave us that instant credibility. On the next slide, on the next column around accelerated sales, Truly, it's unlocking Mac benefits and accelerated procurement cycles has been a game changer. Every time a customer says, "Can we leverage our Mac commitment for this purchase?" The answer is yes. Because we transact through the Azure Marketplace, the deal will decrement against their Mac agreement. It does a couple things. One, it truly removes that budget objection and can reduce the oftentimes complicated and long procurement cycles from months down to weeks. We had a fantastic example of this in the US a few months back, where a large organization had a traditional purchase process in place that was dependent on many internal approvals being passed around, and often would take 2 to 3 months to fully get through that cycle. We were able to leverage the support of the Microsoft team and the reach that they have in the account, as well as our understanding of Azure Marketplace, and truly reduced that cycle from 2 to 3 months for that customer down to 2 weeks, and we're able to transact and close that business. So without a doubt, it helped bridge that gap and close that procurement friction, which co-sell truly allowed from an alignment perspective. And thirdly, the better together. It truly aligns us with the Microsoft strategic sellers. Once we had our software designation and we were flagged as co-sell ready, we saw an uptick in the reach outs from the ATUs or the account teams and the specialist teams or the STUs. But this didn't just happen regionally, it was happening globally. And we went from chasing the account teams down on an account or opportunity to truly partnering and being part of a solution for customers to drive successful business outcomes. The shift was tangible. We saw it, the shift from Microsoft to viewing us as a part of their solution and not just a partner, of putting referrals into co-sell and creating that noise in Partner Center. On exclusive field access, without a doubt, co-sell gave us access to Microsoft's go-to-market engines. And this is often a part that is underestimated, if I had to say. Once we were co-sell aligned, we plugged into the field marketing systems, internal webinars with Microsoft sellers, spotlight features, Azure Marketplace social campaigns. We've even participated in joint customer meeting briefings. And this type of brand amplification it's hard to replicate on your own. Co-sell and leveraging the programs gave us that reach. So it's truly not just a sales pipeline. It allows you to access programs and work with the different teams and areas within Microsoft to understand how best drive that amplification of your messaging and your solution to the broader global audience. Or if you are and your solution is aligned to a specific vertical, for example, healthcare or FSI, then you can hone in on those specific areas for your business. And so ultimately, if you take one thing from this slide, it's that co-sell is not a referral program. It's a framework for global scale. It helps you align with how Microsoft thinks, how they sell, and how their customers buy. And if you're already transactable on the Azure Marketplace, co-sell truly unlocks all of those things and ties them together. Now let me walk you through some of our co-sell best practices. And truly, these 7 building blocks are how we operate today. At the top, align internally first. This goes to your sales, alliances, product, and your executive teams. All need to have a unified view of your Microsoft motion, truly understanding what it is that you're trying to achieve and how you're going to get there. Secondly, that'll lead into how you engage and when you engage with Microsoft sellers. A great best practice is you can't think or support co-selling on every opportunity. There's different types of opportunities in different stages, always going on continuously. And if you have a sense to upload every opportunity into Microsoft Partner Center, likely what that can create is noise. And all of that noise can reduce the value and the strategic alignment and partnership that you do have with Microsoft and the teams, because there is so much noise taking place around all of the accounts. And so if you're able to start mapping, finding some shared opportunities, align on the messaging and the accounts, and build from there, you will truly be able to take that and then replicate that into other regions, other verticals, other areas within Microsoft to continuously build out your partnership with Microsoft. And next, along these exact same lines, is simplify your message with Microsoft. Microsoft sellers are extremely busy. Can you explain your value to them in 15 seconds? Can they? A fantastic way to always approach co-sell meetings with Microsoft teams, so Microsoft sellers and your sellers, is to spend a few minutes to help bridge that gap between the organizations and the selling teams or account teams from each organization. Help drive that joint messaging and that better together story. So it steps off the partnership at that tactical level on the account and opportunity on a good foot. If it is a 25-minute meeting, spend the first few minutes helping both of the sellers and sales teams or teams that are on the meeting understand what that joint value is. For your teams internally, a phenomenal best practice, and it's no doubt that the Azure Marketplace is the way of the future. Help drive that conversation early with customers, not at the 1 yard line. So have a procurement path around Azure Marketplace much earlier in the sales cycle. It'll help drive conversations. It'll help potentially unlock budget if that organization has a MAC agreement or has a consumption commitment agreement with Microsoft, where you can leverage committed spend for your project. Along with that, understand what that better together story is and keep it customer focused. This truly drives that generational better together story that is repeatable from organization to organization, from account and vertical to vertical. And then ultimately have an ask when you're on these calls with your Microsoft teams. Help your teams understand what an ask for a Microsoft sales team could be when you're on these meetings. It could be, validate a procurement path. Validate, are we working with the correct teams? Is there anything that we're missing in our sales thinking, in our sales process as we go through this journey together? But help identify what some of those asks could be when you're on those meetings with the Microsoft teams. The Microsoft teams are phenomenal at unblocking an account or opportunity. However, they need to understand where that help might be and how they can best align and which team members support the account that can help truly unblock that for your organization. And one of the best things that we can do at the end, and we win an account, an opportunity together, is share the win. Co-sell success stories drive internal momentum and build trust with the field. It can be done in a multitude of ways, whether it's through organizations like MISA, or if it's through your partner development manager internally at Microsoft. There are a multitude of ways to drive success, drive better alignment through these wins. One other thing, oftentimes I am asked, what can we do if we didn't truly co-sell, but we had a win in a relevant account or a strategic account? My best answer and co-sell tips and tricks and motion for this would be send that Microsoft team member a quick note. Let them know that you just closed a deal in one of their accounts. And while we did not have the opportunity to partner and collaborate, share with them what that win demonstrates. I promise that Microsoft team will be extremely excited and that the note will be well received and they will be receptive to meeting with you and replicating that on other accounts that they manage. Now I'm going to walk into the next area to accelerating the business with Microsoft. So now that we walked through a few of the best practices, how do we truly expand and accelerate through the marketplace? The marketplace, as I mentioned, is the wave of the future. For many organizations, and similarly at Abnormal Security, we are a channel-first organization. MPO or multi-party offer is extremely important to us. It helps drive larger deals with organizations. It helps simplify the procurement process. It speeds up deals. For organizations, they're now able to leverage their strategic partners and the Azure marketplace. We're able to optimize our listings with the Microsoft priorities to align closer on these initiatives. We can engage partners to extend our market reach and enhance the sales processes. For example, when you are potentially moving into new markets or geographies, you can now leverage your existing channel community to both drive and expand into that region, as well as leveraging and driving your co-sell motions with Microsoft. It's truly a win-win. And always use these data and insights to continuously refine your co-sell strategy. As you start to develop more co-sell wins and opportunities and collaboration and momentum with Microsoft, understand how they truly align with Microsoft. You will likely find that there are specific verticals or accounts or regions or account teams that you're seeing larger success in than others. And this will help you define and refine your messaging from your Better Together story to tailoring win wires, win reports for those areas of the Microsoft business, as well as your own, to understand and share how you're winning together. And ultimately, leverage the Microsoft marketplace, the Azure marketplace, to drive and streamline operations and drive efficiency between the organizations. And now we're going to move on to the next slide. And as we are here, there is subject matter experts on hand to answer any and all questions that want to be asked. So with this, I'll pass it back to Rajesh.
Thank you, Brett, for sharing your experiences and insights with us today. I loved how you kind of synthesized your many years of co-selling with Microsoft in 7 co-sell best practices. The last one about having a defined ask for the Microsoft team is so important, just to ensure partners are getting the specific support they need from our account teams. So thank you again. I hope everyone enjoyed Brett's talk today. We now have some time for Q&A, so please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Also, I want to call out our next co-sell coaching session is scheduled for May 14th. We'll be hosting another amazing Microsoft partner, Silverfort, in that session. We'll drop a link to that session registration page in the chat. And again, we hope to see you on May 14th. Thank you again, everyone, and for your time today, and hope to hear from you in the chat. Thank you.